Good evening. The San Dimas City Council meeting for Tuesday, February 27th will come to order. Please rise and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All council members are present. We'll go into oral communications. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Council on any item on this agenda or not on this agenda. Public comment will not be taken during each individual agenda item except for public hearing items. Comments on public hearing items will be heard when that item is scheduled for discussion. Under the provision of the Brown Act, the legislative body is prohibited from engaging in discussions on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. However, your concerns may be referred to staff or set for a discussion at a later date. Each speaker will be limited to speaking once for up to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk.
First speaker is Margie Green.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and all you other people that are here. I'm Margie Green, and I'm representing the San Dimas Historical Society. We're located in the Walker House at 121 North San Dimas Avenue. We're open on Tuesday and Thursday from noon to 3 o'clock. That's along with the hours of Vincenzo's, the restaurant that's there, so please come by and see us on Tuesday and Thursdays. We're also open the first Saturday, that would be the second Saturday every month for a walking tour of the downtown, the historic downtown. If the weather is not good or we have a problem with that, we'll do a tour of the house and tell you the history of the Walker House and explain things to you, and it would be a great time. We would like it if you could give us a call or RSVP to the Historical Society and let us know that you're coming, so we're sure to have everybody there. But we are open on the second Saturday. That will be this coming 9th of March, so please join us for that. Also, let's see, we will be having our spring dinner coming up in May 23rd. We'll be changing over, getting a new board of directors and a new president then. That's exciting times. So there again, please join us for the walking tour. You can get more information on the web, sandimashistorical.org. So go to that and find out exactly what all's going on. We scan and save pictures. We're up to about 25,000 pictures within our reach in the Historical Society. If you're looking for something, come on by on Tuesday and Thursdays from noon to 3. Ask us questions. We'll be glad to tell you. On Friday and Saturday nights, we'll give you a walking tour of the house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Raymond Foster.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, city staff, and fellow community members. Hey, it's that week. We're here for the food drive. Feeding Military Heroes has kicked off. We did a great job with the softball. Thank you so much for all of those people and the donations that came through opening day with softball. But Saturday is opening day for Little League. The Rotary will have a booth as well as donation boxes there. Every one of our schools has a donation box. The city does, several businesses, the chamber offices. Every sheriff station in LA County has a donation box. I got a letter today from the Blue Star Mothers in Antelope Valley. They said, we've collected a bunch of food to you, but we're not bringing it to you. We've taken it to the Antelope Valley Sheriff Station, and they're going to bring it down on Saturday. So the next event will be the kickoff for the Little League on Saturday. And then on the 7th at 5 o'clock, High Point Brewing Company from 5 to 7 is the kickoff party for the food drive itself. And the 9th is the food drive from 9 to 3 at the Masonic Lodge, 220 North Monte Vista Avenue. If you stop by, and by the way, dignitaries are challenged to donate their weight in food. That's donate your weight in food. Some of you, that's unfair, but that's the way it is. you will see that we've got that Saturday, we're going to have a booth and volunteers from the Upland Marine Corps League, the San Dimas Heroes, the American Legion Post 309, the San Dimas Laverne Women's Club, the Diamond Bar Women's Club, the Young Marines, the San Dimas Masonic Lodge, the San Dimas Rotary, and the George Washington chapter of DMLA. There'll be about 10 booths, 80 volunteers, students from 5 school districts, and we're going to take in between 7 and 8 tons of food, and then it'll get packaged, processed, inspected, and then on Monday we'll load up a semi, we'll take it to the 2 military bases, and we will feed those junior enlisted families. So March 9th, thank you very much.
John, can I trade you weight? I'll take your weight, and you take mine.
Yes. Yeah.
Mitchell Crawford.
I have a PowerPoint presentation somewhere, lurking somewhere.
You have shoes on?
Good evening, City Council, City staff, Mr. Mayor, and our community of San Dimas. My name is Mitchell Crawford. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about our awards to our volunteers of the San Dimas Station Booster Club. Next slide. So we have 7 different types of volunteers. Oh, I could have done it myself. Thank you. We have the Mounted Posse, Disaster Communication Services, Station Explorers, Sheriff's Station Volunteers, Volunteers on Patrol, Uniform Patrol Reserve, and the Mountain Rescue Team. Now you'll notice that CERT is not on there. That's because CERT is managed by the City of San Dimas, but we invited them to join us for this event. So here are our volunteers of the year. Dennis Barnes from this Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. Lisa Fosselman, Mounted Posse. Dennis Swink, Disaster Communication Service. Gabriel Nava, Station Explorer. Kent Snyder, Station Volunteer. Paul Weinman, you've seen Paul everywhere. He's been around for a long time. Volunteer on patrol. Pete Fosselman, our immediate past president of the Booster Club, Uniform Patrol Reserve, and Jenny Lee for the Mountain Rescue Team. I'd like to recognize also 2 members of our board. Carol Curtis has been on the board since its inception for 20 years. Scott Dilley for 18 years. Scott's uncle, Uncle Pete, was on it for the first 2 years, and when he moved on, Scott took over. So those are 2 people that if you see them around town, you might thank them for their contribution. Finally, I think it's important to call out the city staff. They were tremendous in helping us put on a very, very good event. So thank you for the city staff for the logistics and technical support. Thank you. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Pete Lewis.
I forgot to bring my presentation. I just have a few small things. This is Pete Lewis. The 740 project, I heard Chris talk about it last meeting after late into it, and I just wanted to congratulate the city for taking a strong stand and supporting the citizens rather than, fiscal responsibility. I'm real concerned with how much money that thing was going to cost. It was $1,800 a square foot. It was over 6 times as much per square foot as a facility down in downtown LA that the homeless people, the advocacy group said was too much money. And ours was 6 times as much, and we're in a much cheaper neighborhood than downtown LA. So new project, I know I read the paper article with the mayor and Chris. I know as a city we want to be able to help the homeless. We want to do affordable housing, but we don't want to do affordable housing and cost 6 times as much as what we should be spending. And I think the city should take a stand against anything that's fiscally unresponsible. We want to be able to get the most bang for our buck. Metro, I don't know if you guys saw it in the paper, the Metro ambassador recently got punched in the face. I don't know if anybody saw that or read that. She said that this is the 3rd incident she had in a little over a year where she felt she was frightened for her safety. She hasn't come back to work yet. The safety on those trains, she was saying they need a whole lot more safety, law enforcement officers, that type of stuff on trains, on platforms. It's frightening how bad it is still. I've never been frightened on that thing, but I felt uncomfortable many times when I'm on the train. There's a lot of homeless still. There's still a lot of drug use. It's not the way it should be. When it comes to San Dimas, I hope they have it figured out. They talk about it all the time, but they still haven't done it. And this last incident was just an example. Ambassadors go in there's two of them at all times. If you're a single rider on the train and you feel uncomfortable, if they think it's frightening with two people, they should be riding it by themselves. The April decision should be coming on funding for the extension to Montclair, sorry. Supposedly in April, we're facing a very big budget deficit in the state. I know the cities have some issues too, but the state has a huge deficit, and the federal government's got a huge deficit. I don't know, they can't keep spending money like they do. They keep extending when we're going to find out. Hopefully we get approval in April, but if it doesn't come in April, I can't see how we ever get that extension built. I also, just real quick, I spoke at Metrolink, but I didn't have time to talk to everything I was going to mention. The Redlands extension cost about $400 million. They're currently averaging 7 riders per train. Their fare box recovery is 1.8%. It's incredibly low. It's a total disaster. They always talk about how successful it is, but it might be beautiful, but it's not very fiscally responsible. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Rachel Bertakos.
I always wonder if I'm tall enough for this, and I'm not. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, City Manager, staff, and the community. My name is Rachel Bertakos. I am running for San Dimas City Council in District 3. I am just here to thank the community for a wonderful election period and for the support of the community. And I just want to urge everybody to please go out and vote. Your last chance to vote is on March 5th, so please go out and make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the speaker cards, Mayor.
Anyone else in the audience wishing to speak to the council at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent decree. Excuse me. Consent calendar.
I'd move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Introduction of ordinance 1306, amending chapter 1411, stormwater management and discharge, and chapter 14.13, low impact development, the San Dimas Municipal Code, to implement updates of the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board, municipal separate stormwater or storm system permit. Lewis? Oh.
Hello.
You don't look like Lewis.
I am not Lewis. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Lauren Marshall, Senior Management Analyst. Tonight, staff is introducing for your approval Ordinance 1306, amending Chapter 14.11, Stormwater Management and Discharge, and Chapter 14.13, Low Impact Development of the San Dimas Municipal Code to align and comply with the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board's current municipal separate storm sewer system, or MS4 permit. So just a little bit of background about why we worry about water quality. The lower right-hand corner picture is what the Long Beach Harbor looks like after our watershed has a storm come through it. It flushes all of this debris out into the beach and the harbor. And so this permit is meant to combat that and help that. So with that, the state of California updates the MS4 permit periodically. The most recent order, R4-2021-0105, became effective on September 11th, 2021. For compliance and alignment purposes, staff is updating Chapter 14.11, Stormwater Management and Discharge, and Chapter 14.13, Low Impact Development of the San Dimas Municipal Code. Staff is only recommending updates to these code chapters which meet the minimum requirements of the permit so that adhering to the requirements are not burdensome for the community to follow. Updating these chapters of the municipal code by Ordinance 1306 will allow staff to continue to keep the city in compliance with the MS4 permit while offering code text that is clearer in terms of what is expected for compliance versus, say, the city directing a resident or a business to the water board website or to the MS4 permit, which is rather extensive. So for example, we want to make sure that the regulations which maintain acceptable water quality standards for stormwater and non-stormwater discharges are easy for folks to follow. For clarification, the code as it's written now does comply with the current MS4 permit. However, as it's written now, it is less clear for a layperson to understand and thereby comply with, as it was originally written, with more overarching and general language in the current code. This ensures city compliance. It's just very difficult for folks to follow. So this code update will recommend more specific language for residents and businesses alike to have the ability to look up the code and see a clearly defined set of regulations to follow. The city also makes this information available to the community through pamphlets and the city's website to further, make it easier for folks to follow. And I also wanted to do a plug for our rec brochure. We did put stormwater compliance information in this current rec brochure, as well as maintaining their own connection to the sewer system. All will help with water quality compliance. Let's see. So other things that we try to help folks understand is if you have a pool, how to empty the pool safely so that you're not discharging chlorinated water or salinated water into the storm drain system, how to safely dispose of pet waste, motor oil, things like that. So that's all outlined in this code chapter. Additionally, similar changes to Chapter 14.13, Low Impact Development, or LID, are recommended for adoption. Again, this includes more consistent language with the MS4 permit that is more straightforward to follow. Just as a reminder, low impact development is a stormwater and land use management strategy that tries to mimic natural hydrologic conditions on a site. So they use things like conservation, use of on-site natural features, site planning. So think of things like bioretention, rain gardens. There's a picture at the lower left-hand corner of your slide that shows a bioswale where water will filter down through this bioswale and filter out any contaminants before it enters the water table. Similarly, in the other graphic, this shows an example of a construction site and the measures developers put in place to ensure no contaminants run off the construction site and enter the city storm drain system. So this section will address those types of things. So as you can see, just from these few examples, this is a rather extensive permit to follow and enforce and comply with. So in total, the city ends up spending over $500,000 just in direct costs annually between the Safe Clean Water Funding Program and our general fund. All of the aforementioned activities have indirect costs, so this is namely staff time for things like construction site inspections, industrial commercial facility inspections, filing numerous reports to state and county agencies multiple times per year, and then where possible, the costs are transferred directly, just so you know, to the business or property owners those fees pertain to. In order to comply with the permit, there are several direct costs as well. So we have things like the water board annual permits. Those totaled $23,000 this year. We have consulting costs for project development, stormwater plan updates, stormwater quality monitoring, and most recently, this municipal code update, just as some examples. With that, staff recommends that the City Council introduce Ordinance 1306 by title, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Dimas, California, amending San Dimas Municipal Code, Chapter 14.11 and Chapter 14.13 of Title 14, Water and Sewers, updating the stormwater management and discharge and low-impact development LID requirements for new development and redevelopment projects, and incorporating the Regional Phase 1 Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System MS4 permit requirements associated with discharge and connection to the storm drain system and control of stormwater and non-stormwater runoff. And this concludes my presentation, and I'll answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions of Lauren? Hearing none. Do I have a motion?
Well, after reading the ordinance by title, I'd like to, what's that? Oh, did you read the whole entire title?
I did. Save you some work.
So I will move, move that we waive further reading and introduce ordinance 1306. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. John just motion, and do I have a second?
That's me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor, I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Okay. So motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. Okay. We'll move on to oral communications. Members of the audience, speakers are limited to 3 minutes, or as may be determined by the chair. Anyone wishing to speak to the council at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to city reports. City manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last night, the City Council completed their study session review of the downtown specific plan. Next steps are to bring the final draft of the plan to the City Council, conduct the last public input meeting, and then submit the final plan through the Planning Commission and City Council for approval. The hope is to have this historic document completed in the spring or summer of this year. We will see cold temperatures and rain from Friday night through early Sunday morning. It should not be a significant storm, but it is enough to impact gameplay at Saturday's San Dimas Little League opening. The league is still planning to have opening ceremonies at Marchand Park, which starts at 8 a.m. We're happy to welcome a new Public Works street maintenance worker, Mr. Edward Kemba. He comes to us with local government experience from the city of Pomona. Additionally, I was happy to formally promote our planning manager, Louis Tarico, who acted as the community development director on an acting basis to the permanent director position. We are excited about these two employee updates and look forward to continued high quality of service they will provide for the city. At the March 12th City Council meeting, we will be joined by students from San Dimas High School to participate in our annual Students in Government Day. We look forward to having students interested in local government process sit side by side with council members and city staff. Lastly, as you can see with the activity at the city's Plummer building, election is in full swing. The city sees a high volume of activity at our election site, a lot more than those that are nearby. And so we get a whole lot of volume here. And we are grateful to volunteer and provide close access to San Dimas residents. And a thank you to the city clerk's office for coordinating and ensuring that our residents have access to those locations here in our city. Election day is Tuesday, March 5th, and the polling stations close at 8 p.m. on that day. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Any questions of the city manager? City attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I have no reports tonight. Thank you.
Members of the city council, council members' reports on meetings attended at the expense of the local agency. Seeing none, we'll move on to Eric?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That's good. Eric, you guys, you're going to go first.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Contract Cities Executive Board meeting on February 21st. We talked about upcoming meetings and preparations for them, in particular their big meeting that's coming up in May. We also received a legislative update, particularly coming from Sacramento, the things that they're working on, including homelessness and other housing issues. And overall, and that was basically the end of the meeting. It was a fairly brief meeting with more to come at the upcoming meeting in March. So I intend to attend that, and we'll be reporting back on the agenda and topics at hand. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Eric. Since you're already tuned up to talk, we'll call on you for your comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I want to extend my gratitude to my colleagues for carrying on business while I was away during the last meeting. I was traveling for work and returned, I guess now it's been a little over a week ago. So it's good to be back in the community. I want to extend a thank you to city staff for ensuring their community was safe during the rainstorms and everything else. So appreciate all the hard work that they've put into ensuring that everything is in good order. And I also want to thank Michael O'Brien's team for putting together the budget presentation this evening and preparing for that, along with the planning team for facilitating yesterday's downtown-specific plans discussion. We have a very busy year ahead. I'm looking forward to the elections coming to close, where we will have a woman joining us on City Council for the first time in, 3 decades or something like that. And so I'm really looking forward to working with whoever wins. I wish all the candidates good luck, and I'll be welcoming you, whoever is elected at that time. And back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Weber.
As was previously mentioned, polls are open, so get out there and vote. We know the election is coming up quickly. If you intend on mailing in your ballot, try to get that in as soon as possible. Or you can alternatively surrender it at a polling place. The Plummer Building right next door happens to be one. I did that right before the meeting, brought my ballot in, surrendered it. They voided the ballot, and I was able to vote in person and was in and out in probably about 4 minutes. So it is a really quick process, and no lines to deal with. The longer you wait, though, the longer you're probably going to be waiting in a line. So get out there, get your vote in and counted, and like Eric mentioned, good luck to all the candidates, and we will see what the makeup of the council looks like in a few weeks, I suppose. Moving on, Councilmember Vienna and I fielded a golf foursome to compete in the San Dimas Saints Boosters Golf Tournament on Friday. The mayor stopped by to send us off and wish us good luck. We happened to field a couple of golfers that were in our foursome that were slightly better than us, and we may not have contributed all that much, but it was a really good tournament. It was a good turnout. I think it was completely sold out, and I hope it did some good for the boosters, which supports San Dimas High athletics, cheer, and dance programs. Thank you to one of our community members, somebody that lives in my district, Ernie Baltiera, who puts that on every year. Thank you to him for doing that. It was very well attended. And then to also mention, the mayor, along with Councilmember Vienna and Nakano and I, stopped by the opening day for San Dimas Youth Softball at Lone Hill Park this Saturday. It was a really well-attended event, and truly enjoyed being out there. I wish all of the ladies that are competing this season all the best of luck, and hope they have a safe and competitive season. And just to mention, I was the one that pulled, City Council helped with the raffle of some items that they had to raffle off to the kids and parents. And I happened to be the one that, just by nature of our rotation, picked the grand prize ticket. And I just want to say, before there's any allegations, it is election season after all, that I had no clue who the president's daughter was, and I'm not sure how, out of all of those tickets that were in that barrel, she happened to win the grand prize. Just to air that out, but that did happen. Not sure how, but mathematically, I guess it did. So that was it. It was a really fun day, and I thank everybody for coming out to that. And that's it.
Thank you. John?
Just a couple things that I wanted to mention. First of all, the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank provides food for those who are in need, and it's the first Saturday of the month. There's an event over at One and All Church over on Valley Center and Covina Boulevard. and in conjunction with God's Pantry, which is in Pomona. But it's a drive-through event this Saturday. Those who are in need can just drive up and get food for the week or even longer. But it starts at 7:30. They will go to 10 if they have food that long. So it's a good idea to get there a little bit before 10 anyway. So that's that one thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is that just wanted to make a comment about the health benefits of trees. Councilmember Nakano recently shared an article with me that appeared in the Washington Post in January. And it was about a cardiology researcher who is studying the effects of trees and greenery on people's health. He chose Louisville, Kentucky. I think that's where at the university there, I think he's a professor. But he chose that city for his research and started the Green Heart Louisville initiative in 2018. Since then, contractors and volunteers have planted over 8,000 trees and shrubs in a cluster of middle to lower income neighborhoods in Louisville. And they've measured health data from about 500 residents. Today, the project involves 50 researchers, 4 universities, 4 nonprofits, 5 state and local governments, and the U.S. Forest Service. The study is still going on, and so there aren't any final results yet, but there are some interesting things that seem to be coming out of it. And one is a hypothesis that trees release natural chemicals into the air that reduce blood pressure and stress. I have a link to this article on the tree page of my website if anybody wants to take a look at that. Lastly, I am the council representative from District 3. I am retiring. That is a seat that is open, and there are 2 women running for that particular seat. So I wish them both the best of luck, and I urge you to go out and vote. It's a golden opportunity to be able to serve in this capacity, which I, of course, have enjoyed for so many years. Thank you.
Ryan?
Thank you, Mayor. I too wanted to share an interesting article about the health impact of trees. In People magazine on February 6th, 2024, there's an article. It's titled, 3 Killed by Falling Trees as Atmospheric River Hits California with Heavy Rain, Wind, and Mudslides. I encourage people to give that a read and take some time. I think there'll be further discussion about trees in our upcoming budget. So with that said, I also wanted to take a moment. You guys are morbid. So
the question is, were they stressed when the tree was falling on them?
The article doesn't really lay that out, John, but I'd be happy to share it with you. I'll post it on my website under the trees section. That's upcoming in the next election. That being said, I will say I don't know that I exactly agree with Weber's account of our involvement at the golf tournament. Say what you want about yourself, but I'm a hell of a golfer, and and a gardener apparently, chopping grass. But I will say that I agree that Mr. Beltierra and all the folks that contributed to the golf tournament did an outstanding job. We've had the opportunity to play in the Ed Foundation golf tournament. Many of us have for several years. Had the opportunity to get out to this one. Always, as usual, a great event, so well done. I know there was a lot of different feelings regarding, at least when it was shared on social media, people wondering why it is that it was not in San Dimas. I think that anyone that's put on a golf tournament that has any experience doing that will understand there's a lot of things in the economics of that and how you play and the rules that go along with the respective courses. There's different aspects to how you play and put on a tournament. So hopefully there's some things we could look at in the near future to help get some of those tournaments back in the city. But in the meanwhile, it was an outstanding tournament. It was one of the most I think well done, lots of participation from vendors and other organizations that made it a lot of fun. So good job. It raised quite a bit of money, and they should keep doing what they're doing. yes, had the opportunity to go to the softball opening day. I think Eric summed it up. It was a good event, lots of participation. I have to laugh. We're going to go to this upcoming Saturday in Marchant Park will be Little League opening day. And so I will tell you, if you've gone to Little League and you go to or you went to the softball event, both are put on very well. And I think this is the biggest year I've seen for softball where they really owned the park and did some awesome things for the young people there and put on the event. So great job to all the board members who did that, and keep doing what you're doing. It's a great thing in the community. And like I said, this Saturday will be Little League opening day at Marchant Park, so I hope to see a bunch of you out there. It should be a great event. Hopefully the mayor has been getting his arm warmed up and ready to make that pitch. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully better than his golf game lately. But that being said, I'm on a roll tonight. I don't know what's got into me. Maybe it's Nicole's on vacation.
You're
I don't
getting
know.
pretty close to being, I think you're getting pretty close to being done.
Yeah, so just two last things. One is obviously, yes, it's election time to Mr. Shirley, Ms. Bertakos, Ms. Panacidi, good job. Eric running, it's always interesting when people, when you run, and then people thank you for running. It's the strangest thing because you start going, why are they thanking me? And then you get through this campaign thing and you start to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And then them telling you thank you makes a lot more sense as you get closer to the end of it. So bottom line is thank all of you for running because it is what the process is about. And it's about giving people opportunity to weigh in and participate, but it's also about your ideas and your efforts and your experience and everything you bring to the table to help make this community better. So I commend all of you for running and especially for getting out there regardless of what happens with the election. It takes a lot of stones to do it. And, if you haven't seen our fun community, we have some very interesting characters on social media in this community. Some of you get to see them more than others. I think I get to see them the most, or at least they like to talk about me the most. But nevertheless, stay strong, have fun, and enjoy it. Because when you get to the end of this on Tuesday night, I hope you all have some stiff drinks or whatever it is you're going to do and just enjoy the evening. And no matter what happens, you guys all, it was a good election cycle. I think everyone played nice in the sandbox and ran good campaigns, and substantive campaigns, which is important. And lastly, I will be at our next council meeting. I will be away on government business for my day job, attending the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority Public Safety Academy up in Paso Robles. So I will be remotely attending our council meeting, working with staff to make that happen, but I will do my best to be here. The election, as some of you know, takes 30 days to certify after the election, but we should have a decent idea if everything goes well on Tuesday night where we're going to be. So good luck to all the candidates. Thank you again. And to the community, please get out there and vote. It's your right. This is a big election primary cycle, not just locally, but at the county level, the state level, and the federal level. So please, 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 please vote, vote, vote. And if you need any information regarding voting, you can visit the city's website, sandimasca.gov, or visit lavote.gov. To find the nearest vote center. You can vote from anywhere in Los Angeles County at this point, so whether you're at work or you're driving home or whatever the case may be, just get it done. All right, Mayor, I'm done.
The beauty of being the mayor is you get to go last and everybody's said everything that needs to be said. But, pardon me? I didn't say that. Oh, real good. I don't know if anyone realized it, but what was the theme of tonight's last 15 minutes? It really was volunteers. When we stop and we look at what we've had, it started off with Mr. Crawford talking about the Sheriff's Volunteer Dinner and thanking all the people that were involved in it. That gives us everything that we do around this community is volunteerism. Then we went off into girls softball because of that's what happened last Saturday. That program doesn't happen by itself. It happens with parents and volunteers, and that makes us as a community stronger because of all the volunteerism. In the girls softball, there's 110 young ladies that have a program because their parents and their coaches and volunteers make this happen. So they had 110 young ladies. They had 9 teams. And having my daughters went through that program many years ago, and I just believe that the program is so solid. Okay, then we went off to the San Dimas High School golf tournament, of which they would have probably had a better idea if I'd have been able to attend and go with them, because Ryan wouldn't have been there. But the reality is that they did very well. They tied for second. My grandson said the second place is the first loser, but that's neither here nor there. We did good things. People are doing things for our community. And with that all being said, we talk about the golf course. I think that it should be known that San Dimas Canyon Golf Course, the cafe there had been closed for about 2 years because of an unfortunate fire. About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the cafe opened up again. The Greens and I had an opportunity to go up and have breakfast there last week. I recommend if you got nothing, you want to do and you want to grab a bite to eat, go up to the cafe. It's lots of room and lots of places to go, and food was outstanding. We get back to the election. The election is next Tuesday, and as everyone has said that within 100 yards of here is a place to cast your vote. It's everybody's right to vote, and we will depend on your heart, what you think is best, and your intellect to supply this council with an additional council member. With that being said, we're probably going to have a lot more things to say about John in the next couple of weeks, but John's served us well, and he is going to be deeply missed. But John's promised me he wasn't going to say much tonight, but he said a lot more. Okay. So earlier this evening we had a study session to talk about the upcoming budget. I suggest that all who are interested in what's going on with the city pay strict attention to as we progress through it. Those people that are running need to be aware of, the time to be here is during those type of study sessions. So I just understand that people just need to realize that those are very important. Okay? At this point, we have no closed session for a change, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I just got to clarify one thing,
never
Mayor.
mind.
I know I'm going to get a lot of hell for this, but my wife's not on vacation. She's in New York filming a docuseries with Discovery ID Channel. So I'm going to get in trouble if I said she was on vacation. She's not on vacation. So I got to be good when she comes home. Thank you.
All right. I have a motion to adjourn. Good night. See you election night. Everybody get out to those ballots.